I plan together with my colleague in Year 6 for most things, and very often if you want to try a new technique, we'll have a look on the how-tos, and it's great because they're so clear. We've got a shared understanding from the beginning of exactly what it is we're trying to do, rather than one of us trying to explain something and then you're never quite sure if you both have the same understanding. Gives us a focus, and what we'll then do is look at it and go, well, how can we make this work for our children, and what adaptations we can do. We'll normally then do a shared plan. When we actually go and teach it, it will look quite different because we're both very individual and we teach in our own style. But what we then do is come back, and with the how-to we'll actually review what we did, usually discover that we've done things slightly differently, and then but it gives us a focus because we can go, okay, that's what we were that's the idea we started with, and how we can then put that together, and maybe pinch ideas off each other that we can adapt it further to work more effectively in our own classrooms. Yes, I have. I've actually used one of the how-to, the infographics that I'd used. I actually used it with the children, and we had it up on the screen, and I took them through the same learning process that I'd gone through to learn the technique. Because it's really clear, I teach 10 and 11-year-olds, they can understand it. They always like doing something a bit different, it makes the lessons a bit more interesting. It's not the same old, same old. And I think they like the fact, they've commented on the fact that they really like that they can see that I'm learning as well as them learning. And also when we're adapting and we're tweaking and changing things, they can have an influence on how we change things. They'll ask questions and say, but could we? And I think it's really important, lifelong learning is hugely important. And this is a really good practical demonstration for the children that I'm a learner as a teacher. I don't know everything. I'm still learning, and I'm a lot older than them. And I'm a lifelong learner, and that's what I want for my pupils. Yeah, I've actually got an example from literacy. My class this year, I've got a lot of very, very able writers, but what they're not so good at is peer assessment. So I went on how-to specifically looking for something that would help me develop their skills in giving feedback. And I identified the matching comments to homework, but I adapted it so that we actually did it on classwork, not on homework. And what I initially did was prepare some work and some comments for them because I wanted it to be very specific. And what the children had to do was match the comments to the pieces of work. And in order to do that, they had to use their literacy skills in order to be able to identify what actually meant by the technical terms in the feedback. They had to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of each piece that they were looking at, and they did it with their talk partners. So they had to do this orally, actually discussing, what did this mean, what were the strengths. And we then followed that up by them doing a piece of writing and peer reviewing. And I found that the quality of the comments that they gave each other was much, much improved. They were much more specific, much more detailed in what they were able to pass on as feedback to their partner.